Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of our EKN OutLap, our preview podcast that we use for all of our EKN Trackside live events. Within the show, we'll preview the race. We'll look at the teams and the drivers that are competing. We'll have a look at the current point standings and also potentially discuss any of the special stories that are surrounding this upcoming event. It's episode 23. It's May the 18th, 2021. My name is Rob Howden, joined as always by David Cole. And the event that we are previewing with this edition of the OutLap is the second race on the 2021 Superkarts USA Pro Tour. It's the SpringNationals. We'll talk more about it in a moment. This edition of the OutLap brought to you by Acceleration Kart Racing. Acceleration Kart Racing has everything you need to go racing, from tires to helmets. They have a great website for you to order from, and kart racers ready to pick up the phone and answer your questions 6 days a week. With over 20 years of kart racing under their belts, Acceleration Kart Racing has the experience to help you succeed on the track. You can rely on them to get the parts you need when you need them. Make Acceleration Kart Racing your go-to source for everything karting. All right, David Cole, let's bring you in here. We're ready to get back at it again. Flying out to Utah, Salt Lake City on Thursday. The event, of course, May 21, 22, 23 at Utah Motorsports Campus in what we now call Grantsville, Utah.
Yeah, new name, new territory, but right? Same location. Yeah, yep. That's only the second time that Superkarts USA only third time that Superkarts USA will be visiting the what we used to call the Miller Motorsports Park back in the day when it first opened up in 2006. But yeah, very excited to be back to the SCUSA Pro Tour. Missed out on the Winter Nationals at NOLA Motorsports Park, so very excited to get back and seeing the national program up and running again.
Yeah, dude, the first race you've ever missed, right, on the Pro Tour? Or did you miss the one before that?
Second one. I missed the Summer Nationals back in 2010. So I had a pretty good streak going.
You did.
You kind of have yours, but it has an asterisk next to it with the COVID situation in 2020.
Sure enough. I was gonna miss the Winter Nationals of last year. I wasn't there for the half day of practice. But yeah, otherwise I've been at every Pro Tour race since 2010. All right, so this is round 3 and 4 of SCUSA's 6-round championship program. Best 5 races count. It is the 12th season, which is amazing considering the longevity of this program. As I mentioned, David and I both said, began back in 2010, Sonoma Raceway, that first event, the first ever Spring Nationals. Back in I don't know how many years was it, David, when it was Spring Nationals, Summer Nationals, and the Pro Tour also included the Super Nats. But they made that change. I can't remember exactly on top of my head what year that was.
It was 2017 when the Winter Nationals were first introduced. That was at NOLA Motorsports' first 2 years. And then in 2019 was at Cal Speed, and obviously 2020 occurred.
So let's have a look at the event notes as we do in each one of these podcasts, these OutLap podcasts. Now, I'm not familiar with the Star Track layout that we're going to be running. I guess it's just a little under a mile long, 18 turns, an Alan Wilson design. Do you know the Star Track? Is it the same one we ran last time we were there?
It is the same one. It's typically that's like their national layout. It's the longest course, includes that bus stop area on the back stretch, so you're not going straight through. It's basically the longest distance that is allowed at the way the configurations lay it out.
David mentioned the track formerly known as Miller Motorsports Park, opened in 2006. A lot of big races were there. We were there for a couple of Road Tax Grand Nationals. Of course, 2 times, as David had mentioned, Summer Nationals in 2012, David, and Spring Nats back in 2019, back up to Utah.
Yeah, we had some Stars of Karting events there. As you said, the Road Tax Grand Nationals were there a couple of times. It's been a destination for ever since it opened up, and it's gone through that ownership change. So that's been a big factor in just the local program that runs there. I believe it was 2019 that they didn't have any local programs.
Nothing. That's right.
And it finally came back in 2020. And so now they're starting to see that resurgence of just local karting and regional karting in the area again. So it's not only good for Superkarts USA and the facility, but good for the sport overall.
Agreed. One of the cool things about Utah Motorsports campus is the fact that it does have the massive road course as well. And what that means is it's kind of a shared paddock. They have garages that I don't know we're using the garages anymore. We used to do that back in the day, but it's all paved. The whole paddock area is paved. There's no dirt. There's no gravel. It's a real clean place to race. Track's fantastic. David, I think you and I will be in our little outpost again. It's a little harder for us when we're outside calling it, but let's hope they've got something dialed in for us just in case rain comes, because we are outside on top of one of the containers. But the best we can do is hope for clean weather and dry weather throughout the weekend. What have you looked at? What's the forecast for this coming weekend?
Well, when I wrote this, it had a chance of rain on Friday, but now looking at it, it's only a 24% chance of rain. So rain is not technically in the forecast. It's showing partly a mostly cloudy day. But temperatures are going to be in the mid 60s all weekend long. Yeah. But really that Friday is really the only chance where we're going to see it. But again, you never know. It is Utah. It's up there next to the Salt Lake. It could, drum up some precipitation. We're not sure, and you never know with that area. The main thing is wind. You said it's a clean facility, and it is that. Unfortunately, where there's not pavement, it's dirt.
It's surrounded by dirt. Yeah, that's right.
So that's the only downside to the facility itself, because if the winds are down low, you don't really necessarily get the effect of the dust devils or dirt just flying over, or if you go off racetrack. So stay on the racetrack. That certainly helps as well too.
Well, let's put this out there, David. 64. I'm looking at my iPhone right now. 64 degrees is a high all 3 race days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A low of 39 degrees on Saturday. I have a thinking feeling you and I are going to have the gloves and the toques and everything on come probably every morning. It's going to be chilly mornings.
Yeah, we had that, I believe, last year in 2019, and we get there in the morning and it's a bit chilly. You got to warm up, and then by the time pre-finals begin, that's when you start shedding the layers off off everybody. Now they do have a great scoring tower. Unfortunately, that's where Superkarts USA establishes itself in the video marshaling system, because they don't have a mobile system. And I'm going to keep saying this because they keep booting us out of the scoring area.
They do.
So until they get a mobile scoring or mobile video program going, we get the short end of the stick on that.
Yeah, we're outside. All right, so let's have a look at the event schedule, David. Unofficial practice taking place on Thursday. Give us a kind of a rundown of the sessions.
Basically, the event schedule is the same as what you had up at down at NOLA Motorsports for the Winter Nationals. Thursday, unofficial practice, 4 7-minute sessions, and then a 12-minute session to wrap up the day. Friday has 5 rounds of practice, official practice. It'll be 3 7-minute sessions along with 2 12-minute sessions. That is basically your preparation for the 2 days of racing.
Yep. And then, of course, Saturday and Sunday, identical days in terms of round 3 and round 4 of the championship. Warm up in the morning, and we'll have to be warming up because it will be cold, as we said. Qualifying, pre-finals, 12-lap pre-finals for all the categories. The cadet class is running just the 10 laps, and finals will be 20-lap finals, 18 laps for cadet categories. That's the same for both Saturday and Sunday. David, pretty much just a traditional Superkarts USA lineup for the race weekend.
Yeah, almost a carbon copy. They did raise the pre-final laps. I believe it was 10 and 8 at NOLA Motorsports. So each category getting 2 laps more than what they did at the Winter Nationals. So a little bit of a stretch there for the pre-finals, where the finals are the same at 20 and 18.
Interesting. All right, folks, our first break of the action. When we get back, we're going to go by the numbers. We'll have a look at what we've got coming for this edition of the Superkarts USA Spring Nationals. Leading Edge Motorsports is the industry answer to winning in karting. At the helm is industry veteran Greg Bell, who has orchestrated the success of many drivers dating back to the mid-1990s. Based in Lodi, California, Leading Edge Motorsports is the Western importer with IP karting that includes the Praga and Formula K chassis brands. Leading Edge Motorsports provides in-depth driver development for those racers in Northern California and across the country. Arrive and drive services, kart preparation, and driver coaching are available under the LEM tent throughout the season. Bell's record of working with drivers includes recent victories at North America's biggest karting events, including the Rock the Rio and the SCUSA SuperNationals. Greg Bell's knowledge for building engines spans 2 decades and is now under the Mega Power branding, providing reliable engine service and tuning knowledge. No matter the chassis brand, choose Mega Power to get to the front. Click over to leadingedgemotorsports.com for more and find them on social media to stay connected. At Leading Edge Motorsports, winning never gets old.
History, success, family. Those are the 3 words that describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation is located just outside of Indianapolis, and they have provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers throughout their near 6 decades of business. Comet's online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. Comet Kart Sales attends dozens of karting events every year, offering trackside service for racers and families. Karting veterans Mark Dismore Jr. and Gary Lawson provide one-on-one driver coaching and tuning assistance for each trackside customer. The engine building business, Comet Racing Engines, has won countless major events and championships over decades of karting, and they continue to offer the best trackside service in the industry. Make sure you head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be a part of the Comet Kart Sales family today.
Welcome back to the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast for this coming weekend Superkarts USA Pro Tour SpringNationals, into the middle of the 12th season of the Superkarts USA National Program, the Pro Tour, heading to Utah Motorsports Campus in Grantsville, Utah this coming weekend. David, let's have a look at the numbers. Started the season off at NOLA Motorsports, as you said, with 211 total entries. SCUSA rolling into Utah with 217 pre-entries. Pretty good way to get things underway.
Yeah, a bit of a boost. You have those who aren't traveling west from the East Coast, and you have those that didn't travel east from the West Coast for NOLA coming out for the Utah weekend. So it's a little bit of a mix, but it is a move in the right direction. And I think we're going to see even bigger numbers when we get to Newcastle come the end of the Pro Tour in August. So it's a good trend. It's a trend upwards. That's what we want to see, as the program moves on, because typically we see the bigger numbers at the beginning and then trending down. So that in itself is a great positive, a great momentum builder as the year goes on, because again, everything builds up towards the SuperNationals, which is going to be a phenomenal return back to the Rio at the beginning of December at the end of this year. So again, numbers looking pretty well across the board. We had the biggest boost out of all the categories is KA100 Senior, 18 additional entries compared to NOLA. We're going up to the 48 mark.
That's massive. Yeah, KA100 Senior, one of the positive classes, big time on the West Coast. And I think we've talked a bit about the fact that a lot of drivers doing the KA as opposed to the X30 on the West Coast, and that's why we've got such good numbers. And not surprising then, in the X30 Senior class, we had 39 at NOLA, down to 31 here on the West Coast run to the Spring Nats. Same numbers in Micro Swift, but David, a good bump up in Mini Swift as well. 23 at NOLA for the Winter Nats, 33 drivers in Mini Swift for the Spring Nationals.
Yeah, good boost there. Some racers who weren't at NOLA getting a chance to get back on the Pro Tour, and that's next to KA, the second largest boost. Really, those were the only 2 categories that actually increased from NOLA, as the rest of the categories either decreased just a little or kind of stayed the same, as you said, with Micro Swift staying at 24.
We'll, of course, go class by class, but Micro Swift at 24 right now, pre-entries, Mini Swift at 33. The X30 classes, Junior at 22, Senior at 31, Masters staying the same as 10 drivers as they had at Winter Nats. Pro Shifter down 4 to 12, Master Shifter down 4 to 8 drivers, so 20 total in the shifter combined category. And then 28.9 drivers in KA100 Junior, down just 1. But then the big bump, Dave, as you said, 48 in KA100 Senior. They put on a show at NOLA Motorsports. I look forward to seeing the KA100s get at it here at Utah Motorsports campus as well.
And it's a longer facility circuit, so we can have that big number of 48, because typically They used to be around the 44 mark is where they would cut things off. But this is very similar to the Newcastle layout where it has that long straightaway, not a lot of tight stuff. So you can certainly find space, and you're going to have to for qualifying or find that partner. I'm just a little shocked that, I think the master shifter numbers kind of gives you a clue as into the Masters guys are just, it's almost like they're done with SCUSA. I don't know what it is, because I thought that number was going to be closer to the 20 mark, going up from that 12. I thought, we had obviously some drivers who weren't at NOLA not coming out, but I thought the West Coast guys were gonna step up and come out to play, but something's just not right there. So that's something that obviously Superkarts USA needs to look at and kind of address as we move forward.
Yeah, SCUSA working hard on trying to dial in their shifter kart program. Obviously, the move from the stock Honda to the 175 SSE IME engine, and then opening up the KZ as well. They're doing a lot to try to dial that program in, and even with that really solid offering of a free engine for any driver that entered the entire program, still really not taking a lot of momentum forward. We'll see what they're able to do, of course, this year and into 2022. All right, folks, let's do another quick break. Time to go class by class. When we get back after this particular break, we'll be X30 Senior Pro Shifter. We'll dive into the drivers who are coming to race. We'll have a look at the championship standings. Lots more to come here on the EKN OutLap. Motor mounts are critical to producing 100% of the power your engine has to get you on the podium each and every time. Odenthal Racing Products provide the best motor mounts in the karting market today. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience, providing products with unmatched quality and value for the karting market. Our newest product is the Pro Series mount for two-cycle engines, available in 0, 5, and 8-degree angles, providing a rigid structure to help keep vibration to a medium with fins underneath to help dissipate heat off the engine. Our 4-cycle EZ set is one of the most popular mounts for the Briggs & Stratton 206 power plant. Multiple mounting holes provide the most adjustability, depending on your chassis and seat placement. To ensure a tight fit to your chassis, ORP wedge clamps get the job done, featuring a number of updates to its design for a lower profile and lighter weight. The clamps are available from 28mm to 32mm in both standard and Euro sizes. Head to OdenthalRacing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, made in the USA. Experience and passion. That's what led to the launch of AMAX Racing. Owner Charles Maxwell began AMAX Racing in 2015, expanding the operation in 2019 with a focus on driver development for racers of all age groups and backgrounds. From top-level drivers to grassroots racers or families looking for a team that will help them achieve their goals, AMAX Racing can guide you with the absolute best trackside service at affordable prices. No matter the chassis, AMAX Racing welcomes you and has the experience to put you on the top of the podium. You can join the AMAX Racing family in 2021 at the Cup Karts North America, United States Pro Kart Series, and WK Manufacturers Cup Series, along with selected local events at Whiteland Raceway Park and Newcastle Motorsports Park. For more information, contact them at 317-437-5886 or find them on Facebook. AMAX Racing, all of your karting needs under one tent. Welcome back to a new edition of the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast, perfect for heading into work or coming home. Always great for the commute. Just download it to the EKN. Either download the app to make sure you can listen to it live. Obviously, everything we do, all the content, the first time it comes out is on the EKN Radio Network, the 24/7 app that we have either on your mobile device or through ekartingnews.com/radio. Or just download the podcast. David, let's jump into X30 Senior. 31 entries in total. The defending champion from last year's Summer Nationals 6-race, 2-weekend wild run. Bryson Morris has moved on to cars, running in the Spec Miata program, also doing the Lucas Oil School of Racing. So your defending champion not there, but race winners from the Winter Nats, Diego Ramos and Connor Zilich, 1-2 in the points.
Yeah, 1-2 in the points, but Ramos not on the entry list. I did not put that on the notes, but I'm telling you now,
Okay.
Ramos not on the entry list. So I'm waiting to hear. I haven't heard back from the team as to if he'll be there or not. Again, this could be COVID related. It could just be scheduling differences. Not sure what Diego's schedule was for the 2021 program or what he was actually doing. So that's going to be certainly the story point if he does not show up in Utah to the championship chase, with him leading the championship over Connor Zillage there.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that. But again, could be, like you said, could be one of those deals. They just haven't entered yet. We'll do it at the track, but otherwise, we'd obviously like to see him there. Ryan Norberg, not that far back, especially if Ramos isn't there, David, in the championship, because Diego Ramos had a 108-point lead after the Winter Nationals. If he's not coming, all of a sudden that blows everything wide open. That would put Norberg behind Connor Zillage by just 9 points. So that could that would be a definite shakeup in the championship battle.
Yeah, certainly with that. Yeah, I mean, that's a solid lead after 2 rounds of racing for Ramos. But, going into Utah, if we flash back to 2019, it was all Ryan Norberg there. So Norberg certainly has the experience, has the success at the Utah Motorsports campus, knows how to be fast there. Zillage, I don't think Zillage was actually racing junior. I don't think he quite had the weekend that he wanted to 2 years ago, but obviously Zillage is a different driver than what he was that 2 years ago. So
for sure.
That's going to be an interesting story. And then also, you think about Norberg's teammates, they certainly have gotten better and better as the last 2 years have gone on. So they're going to be right there as well too.
Yeah, I don't think you can count out Hannah Greenmeyer right now. She seems to be on a bit of a roll, as obviously, she actually won on the racetrack at the Winter Nationals. Thought that was going to be the first ever female victor on the Pro Tour. She ends up getting a pushback penalty, but she is really kind of stepping up and really having a strong season this year. So I think that Hannah is definitely going to be one to watch out for. We mentioned Ryan Norberg, of course, Brandon Tyner as well. He's been good, thinking about the drivers running for the Rawlson Performance Group. Yeah,
and there you're going to add Edward Ports is going to be on the roster with them. So he's coming back, making his SCUSA Pro Tour 2021 debut. Yep. So he's another bullet in the gun for the RPG team. And then you got to think of Nathan Cicero. He's been getting better and better every time in the X30 category. Ran K100 for the first couple of years. Now moved up, and he's kind of been right there as well too, especially at the last USBKS race.
Yeah, as I'm kind of scrolling through some of the entry list here right now. We talked about Diego Ramos not being there. He was running with Kevin Monteith's team, the Racing Edge Motorsports team, and I'm wondering whether or not I just don't think they're making the trek out, the team itself. So that may be the issue for Ramos, right?
Yeah, I'm again waiting on a message from Ramos to hear what he had to say. I haven't heard back, but yeah, I assume that's what it's going to be. Some teams are going to certain events, and this could possibly be the event that they chose not to go to, which is, it is what it is, but you'd like to see that when you have a championship lead of 108 points, you're going to follow through and go with it.
Yeah, exactly that. What are some of the other notables, David, when you look at the entry list that you think guys who are girls actually that we need to be watching as well?
Yeah, exactly. I already mentioned Edward Ports. You just said girls. We're talking about Macy Williams. She's been very good all along the West Coast this year. Certainly she'll be one to watch on the Christian Bird Motorsports entry. Oliver Hodgson on the J3 comp cart. He's made his way back over to the States. Did very well at the USBKS weekend a couple weekends ago. So he's back to the SCUSA Pro Tour. So he'll certainly be one of those top contenders, as well as Kiris Sukis. On another driver from the West Coast. He'll be one to watch because he's been quick all year long too.
Yeah, we saw him on the Challenge of the Americas. Kyriako Sukis, very quick, running for Alex Keys Racing. A couple other guys that kind of jump out my face, David, just because that we've been talking about them. They've been running well. I would say we look for top 10 or potential podium runs for a guy like Thomas Annunziata for Mike Doty Racing. John Burke for PSL Karting has kind of dialed things in, getting comfortable with that Burrell Art chassis. I don't think you can ever count out Oliver Calvo as well with Leading Edge Motorsports. If he's on his game, that Calvo could be in the fight too.
Yeah, and I wonder, because you were at the Winter Nationals, I wasn't. And then you had different weather changing, a lot of different scenarios. who kind of stood out from that weekend that you think is going to be coming back and could be that driver that kind of maybe becomes a third different winner on the weekend or on the year?
Yeah, and obviously from the Winter Series, Alex Stanfield for Crosslink competition has been really impressive, and I think in his rookie debut in the category, and also I think that I like potentially seeing Jace Park dial things in as well for Trinity Karting on the Kart Republic.
Yeah, certainly rookies. They've been quick as we see Connor Zillage being right out of the gate. So yeah, you add Stanfield and Park into that mix. I'm trying to think of who else.
I'm just looking, and for me, it's just like you can keep throwing names out there: Luke Lang, Cole Morgan, Thomas Nepfu's coming back as well.
Well, some veterans like Jake Drew and Dante Yu,
exactly.
they have a lot of experience. Again, I wasn't at NOLA, so I'm not quite sure, how they stacked up that weekend. Is Utah going to be a better racetrack for them? But it's almost like the two tracks, because they're designed by the same person, they almost race the same way. Do you feel that?
I do that. Yeah. Like I said, they're both Alan Wilson designs, and just the way the track is laid out, the way he likes to pair corners together and complexes. I think you're right. I think this is going to be very similar in terms of maybe some guys that are better in that kind of circuit will stay at the forefront. That wouldn't surprise me. All right, let's. We're wrapped up with X30 Senior. Again, 31 drivers in the category. Diego Ramos, the championship leader, coming in, not yet on the entry list. That will be a big shift in terms of the championship. Will bring Connor Zillage and Ryan Norberg to the forefront. David, in the pro shifter classes, we kind of focus on the pro classes with this segment. 12 drivers in total. Defending champion AJ Myers and the Magic Kart USA machine, defending champion Pro, Chente Salas in Pro 2. Everybody comes together in Pro Shifter this year, meaning Salas is essentially a rookie. Of course, they're running for that Rookie of the Race trophy that SCUSA brought out this year. AJ Myers, though, David, flat dominated NOLA, and if we're talking about the fact that it's a similar racetrack, he may be able to do the same thing here at Utah Motorsports Campus.
Yeah, if I recall 2019, it really wasn't a dominant person all weekend long in the pro shifter category. Mateus Ramirez was a winner along with Andrew Budozo. So, both races were a little bit different, and but yet the driver who did win ended up getting away from the rest of the field. So I think that could be a key aspect in this category for this year. And then when you talk about AJ Myers, how dominant he was at NOLA, it could be him both days again when we go to Utah. Certainly the driver that'll be keeping an eye on him all weekend long will be Jake French, because he's going to want to try and be better than him in every single session in order to get back into the championship chase as he trails by 120 points.
Yeah, and interesting looking at some of the drivers that are coming in. You throw in a Cole Bailey, Josh Campbell, Jacob Gulick. Gulick, of course, not at the Winter Nats. Neither was Campbell. Actually, GFC. Gary Carlton's will have a couple of his GFC chassis there with Campbell and Gulick. And I think Gulick's been pretty good over the last couple of months. I think he could surprise and potentially go for a podium.
Oh, Gulick is certainly going to be among those in the podium chase for sure on the weekend. He's gotten better and better as we watched him at Challenge of the Americas in the shifter category there, and I think he got his first podium at the finale and was certainly among those in the fight for the victory that weekend. Kind of tough racing at Sonoma against the hometown boys of Hunter Piggott or Aiden O'Neill. So certainly showed well against those guys. And I think he'll be among the top drivers with him and Campbell on the GFCs, and then Cole Bailey on the comp cart with J3.
Couple of things right now that I look at here, because going back to the Winter Nationals, both Michael Stevens and Vincenzo Saraceno were right there in the top 5, battling it out for position. Of course, PSL Karting running with Michael Stevens, Vincenzo Saraceno running with Leading Edge Motorsports on that Formula K. What I don't see in the list, David, is Billy Musgrave. I don't see any of the guys from the factory kart team. I wonder whether or not they are entering late and just didn't get pre-entered.
Yeah, I'm going to think they're going to be late entries. That's my observation. But again, they might be skipping out on this weekend. We're not sure. Again, it's kind of tough to talk about you when we don't have your name listed on the entry list.
That's it. That's exactly that. 12 entries in total again in Pro Shifter, and you look again just to wrap up. AJ Myers and Jake French first and second in the points. Myers with that dominating weekend at NOLA Motorsports has the lead by 120 points, but both those guys really have been like the class of shifter kart racing, pro shifter kart racing over the last handful of years. So look for both of those drivers to be the guys to battle for the race wins. All right, another break in the action. We come back. KA 100 Senior, 48 entries. We'll also talk about KA 100 Junior and X30 Junior. More to come on this edition of the OutLap. ...2019 marked a new era for the KartLift brand. The company that Tim Coyne owned and operated since 2003, one with a long tradition of quality products for the karting industry, was purchased by Ted Fashing and his business, Stockholm Karting Center, in October of 2019. Stockholm Karting Center Inc. has added the KartLift brand to their very successful Triple T Race Products brand that has been fabricating parts for the drag racing industry for the past 25 years. We're small enough where the owner answers the phone and every call is important to us, but we're large enough to get the job done. We pride ourselves on the quality and personal customer service that we provide on the phone or at the track. KartLift stands, as you know, can be found at racetracks all over the country. If you race alone, or if you're a parent with a cadet or junior driver, let our one-man winch lift make your race days easier. Position the hooks under the rear bumper, push the button, and your cart is raised into position and you're ready to go. We have traditional cart stands, single upright storage stands, KartLift stackers for storing 2 carts at once, tire changers, and skid plate kits. KartLift stands are available at the finest kart shops around the country, or you can order online at kartlift.com. For more information, give us a call at 877-777-8020. That's 877-777-8020. Get a KartLift and leave your crew at home. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and arrive and drive programs are available in 2021 for the USPKS and the Superkarts USA Pro Tour and SuperNationals, with full product sales and service and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private, one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. Trinity Karting Group is also your Midwest home for Tony Kart and IAME, and we're your source for MG and Avinco tires in the region. Tony Kart quality cannot be beat, so call us today to put you in a new chassis for your next event. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group has a long history in the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network. Rob Howden alongside David Cole as we preview the upcoming Superkarts USA Spring Nationals at Utah Motorsports Campus in Grantsville, Utah. This is the OutLap, and this edition brought to you by Acceleration Kart Racing. David, KA 100 Senior, biggest category on the weekend, 48 entries. It'll be a barn burner of a battle all weekend long.
It should be. And again, there's really not a favorite that you when you look at this entry list with 48 drivers, but you kind of have to go back to the Winter Nationals and see who kind of came out on top that weekend. And that weekend was Cole Morgan winning twice on the weekend and able to establish a solid championship lead heading into the Spring Nationals here this weekend. So that's going to be kind of the story to watch to begin with is what Morgan can do with the championship lead and coming off 2 victories like that.
Agreed. I think it should be interesting because he was unbelievably good, and he was just comfortable. He looked really comfortable out there. And again, that particular racetrack, NOLA Motorsports Park, those last couple of corners, a lot of overtaking, the over/under in the final corner. Every race, and for Morgan to come out strong, you got to think he's going to be carrying a ton of momentum into this event, these third and fourth rounds of the Pro Tour. Interesting, David, Leonardo Colavita, second in points, but not on the entry list.
Yeah, again, another driver that was in contention at the Winter Nationals, not coming to the SpringNats, or at least not listed. Again, drivers do have the option of registering at the track, which is not what we want to see because we can't talk about them, and then we haven't been able to confirm their attending or not. We did with some other drivers, so we'll get into that a little bit later. But so that kind of gives Morgan a little bit of an advantage if Leonardo is not able to go.
Former Superkarts USA Pro Tour champion in the K100 senior class, Austin Osborne, in the number 155 points back. Osborne on the list with Iron Rock Racing, so we'll see him in here as well. David, let's now have a look at some of the drivers that you think could stand out that maybe weren't at the Winter Nationals.
Yeah, a good handful of drivers that were not there at NOLA Motorsports. Jensen Oldsman, he's been doing a lot of MX5 racing.
Yeah.
Recently, Phil DeLeo, that's a name from Miller Motorsports past.
He's flashing back.
He's had some success there. So the Arizona driver coming back to do a little K100 racing again. Ethan Ho, he raced shifters most of the winter months. So he could be a factor in this KA100 senior, along with Macy Williams, who picked up victory at Challenge in Americas. And so she's, again, been among the quick drivers all season long on the West Coast. And then Tyler Wettengale, another East Coast driver, did not make it to NOLA, but is coming out to Utah Motorsports campus. So we'll see if he's able to do well under the Trinity Karting Group tent.
Yeah, a couple other drivers that I think we've talked about and they've been kind of top 5 runners and top 10 guys throughout the season. Nolan Allison with Rawlison Performance Group has shown well to start the season. Thomas Annunziata, I mentioned Thomas already. I think he will be good. Riley Cann has impressed me as well for crosslink competition. One entry that I see that kind of, as I scroll down through, caught me off guard a little bit, but Stepanova Nikhil, or Stepanova Nikhil, depending how you want to say it, if we want to say it in his kind of home tongue. Nikhil, obviously one of the guys that normally is wrenching for Derek Wang. Stepanova back behind the wheel this weekend. I think that's a cool deal. And he's with crosslink competition, I see.
Well, do you think Derek's going to wrench for him?
No.
Exactly. He's probably going to be doing his own wrenching as it is anyways.
Yeah, that's a good possibility. But yeah, good to see Nikhil back because he's always quick. I throw out names like Blake Nash. I think Blake's been really good. Connor Ferris probably as well. Could be guys that could work their way forward. I like the fact that the field is really super deep.
Yeah, the field is super deep, again, as we talked about at the beginning, and a lot of notables. The Nikhil ones certainly caught me off guard as well, too. Yeah. But you got to factor in some local drivers who were good at the 2019 edition. Joshua Fine, Walker Hess, these two drivers came out and won against drivers like Austin Osborne and Blake Hunt and other ones like that. So are they going to be able to kind of defend the home turf once again as the Pro Tour goes back to Utah Motorsports campus?
And how much do we like having local guys come out, right, defend their turf?
Well, and I think that's why you see the bigger numbers in the KA100 divisions, no matter where you go, because local drivers have that ability to be within a tenth or two of the fast guys right away, or be one of the fast guys. So that's certainly the advantage with the 100cc package is the tight knit fields that you do get, even though the fields are bigger. The gap between first and say 30th is still a lot tighter.
That's it. Yeah, good call. Let's go to the junior segment of the category. KA100 Junior, 29 pre-entries. Your defending champion Carson Morgan has obviously moved on to the senior category. Noah Baker, David, was the 2-time winner at the Winter Nationals, was able to sweep the weekend and get both victories. He leads the championship by 100 points over Parker DeLong. Big gap back then to Austin Jers with 220 points. But again, Noah Baker coming in as essentially the guy to beat right now.
Morgan actually is still in the category, so he's sitting there in fourth in the championship chase.
I thought he'd moved.
Cole Morgan, his
Morgan,
brother, has been up in the senior ranks now. This is his second season, so I know too many drivers to remember in your 20-some years of racing.
I'm getting too old for this.
But yeah, Noah Baker, again, that's something that is a common theme I noticed when doing, because I wasn't there at NOLA, so I don't remember a lot of it. I don't, because I wasn't there. A lot of drivers were able to double up on the weekend, and K100 Junior is one of them with Noah Baker. We just talked about Cole Morgan doubling up there.
A lot of penalties, though, David. The interesting thing about, and you probably remember from reading the stuff, that a lot of guys that actually doubled up didn't win both races. And I can't remember. I think Noah might have been one of the guys that finished second, but ended up getting a win because of a pushback. We had a bunch of guys. A pushback bumper, of course, always tough. We had I gotta say, at least a handful of on track wins that got taken away for pushback.
Well, close doesn't count. Only in horseshoes, right?
That's right. Exactly.
So you got to complete the process. You know, kind of like football, even there too, catching a ball. So you got to complete the process when you're trying to win in karting now with the pushback bumper situation. But Noah Baker again should be one of those front drivers up front. Comes in with 100-point advantage over Parker DeLong. So, he has among the most experienced when you look at the field. Talk about him, Danny Dazalski, who's the Austin Jers, has a number of years of experience coming into the weekend. Jesus Vasquez. So a lot of drivers that have experience, but the rookies are hungry, and like a Parker DeLong or others like that. So,
well, I won't push Carson Morgan into senior quite yet. Like you said, he's gonna be a guy that's gonna be pushing hard. Two other ones definitely got to put your name on. And number one being a rookie in the category, Chase Hand for Rawlson Performance Group. He's already won some championships and won a bunch of races already to start the season. Jeremy Fletcher's been really good too. I think he's really hitting on all cylinders. So I think Fletcher and Hand will be two guys that'll go for the race win.
Yeah, it was ironic because at the USPKS event, Fletcher was better in the KA 100 than he was in X30. When you go to NOLA, he was the other way around. He was better in the X30 than he was in the KA. But you certainly can't count him out when you get to the racetrack. As you said, you already mentioned Chase Hand, Jack Jeffers doing double duty. Yep. He's going to be another one to watch as well too.
Hey, how about one of the guys that came out and really impressed in both categories at NOLA was Cole Kleck for Arcade Motorsports, Trevor McAllister's team. Cole really, I thought he really stepped things up and was in the middle of the fight quite a bit.
Yeah, it's getting that experience. Once he's now gotten a few years of racing in the junior category under his belt now, so he's able to kind of get that comfort level and get that confidence building going into these Pro Tour events.
Okay, shout out to the young ladies in the program too. Cameron Reed on the podium at NOLA Motorsports Park. We'll see if she can do it again here this coming weekend.
Another one, Lainey Benjamin, making her Pro Tour debut, come in as the Challenging Americas champion in the 100cc category there.
She was racy there too.
She's going to be among the new names at the Pro Tour that weren't at the Winter Nationals. Cooper Leclerc, another one that under the J3 tent. Graham Trammell with Rawlson Performance Group. Those are some new names that we could certainly see contend for podium positions.
Indeed. So again, this is the OutLap preview podcast. We talk about this coming weekend, Superkarts USA SpringNationals at Utah Motorsports Campus. We'll cap off this segment and look at X30 Junior. David, I expect a lot of drivers in doing the double duty in both the junior categories. 22 pre-entries in total. Defending champion Carson Morgan, of course, he won both titles last year at Newcastle Motorsports Park when we jammed the entire Pro Tour into 6 races over 2 weekends. You mentioned Jeremy Fletcher, David, being better in the X30 Junior than the KA at NOLA. Indeed, he won both races. 33-point lead over Carson Morgan in that category. Noah Baker back by just 90 in total. So pretty tight up top in this class, but Jeremy Fletcher rolling in with a lot of momentum.
Yeah, this one's going to be a tight one, I think, all year long. When you talk about, a lot of the categories have a bigger gap between first and second already. This one only 33 points, which you can get that in a pre-final or just bonus points alone. So that's going to be certainly a key factor. As we talked about Morgan, coming in as the defending champion this year. Did it all at Newcastle, so we'll see how he ends up at Utah this weekend. Fletcher's been there a number of times, understands that racetrack, so maybe has a slight advantage over that. But Noah Baker there, sitting there in third, already has the K100 championship lead. Probably wants to do a little bit better in the X30 junior category to be able to maybe do what Carson Morgan did last year.
Well, and the interesting thing, I look at, like you said, David, a number of drivers from the east that did NOLA not coming this way. We've got a bunch of guys from the west who are making their debuts. Lainey Benjamin, you mentioned Lainey in KA100 Junior. She's running the double. Lydia Small as well. Logan Toke, Graham Trammell, all doing the double in both categories. But Caleb Gaffera coming back as well. Caleb did a bunch of racing in Europe earlier this year. Got a race win at the USPKS. Another driver with lots of momentum and confidence rolling into Utah.
Yeah, the victory certainly is building up the confidence from the USPKS weekend. He was supposed to be, I think, racing the FIA European Championships this past weekend, but skipped that to remain in the United States and then move over to do the Pro Tour this weekend. So build that momentum and then maybe go back and do when he goes over and does the academy with even more confidence heading over across the pond.
How about let's throw a couple names out there for you. What about Paul Bocuse for Parolin USA? I think he's been strong, won some races already this year.
Yeah, Paul Bocuse with Parolin. I think Max Garcia on the Willpower cart, he's going to be right there. You already mentioned Cole Kleck, doing double duty. He's getting that confidence built back up. He's going to be probably one to watch. So those are some names. Frankie Mossman could be another one. Didn't quite have the performance he wanted to at NOLA, but could be there this weekend. Jack Jeffers. I mean, a number of different drivers just alone that are going to be battling in the top 10.
And let's not count out Chase Hand again, right? Because he's been good in his debut national season. So a lot of good stuff happening in this particular category. X30 Junior, as David mentioned, it's a 33-point lead right now for Jeremy Fletcher, and that is not much in terms of Superkarts USA competition. That's a pre-final, like David said. So long way to go to see who's going to be having the national number one plate in X30 Junior for 2022. Another break in the action. We come back. It'll be all Masters. We'll talk Master Shifter and X30 Master. If the dream is IndyCar, set your target on the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires. Our ladder system is designed to take drivers through 3 rungs of competition. The first step is the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship, which features a carbon tub Tatis chassis, 180 horsepower, and a paddle shift sequential gearbox. Boost the USF 2000's output to 250 horsepower for the Indy Pro 2000 program, the second rung on the road to Indy. Add in increased grip and more aero downforce, and the Tatis PN18 becomes an incredible training machine. The final step before IndyCar is the Indy Lights Championship presented by Cooper Tires. The Dallara IL-15 boasts a whopping 450 horsepower. This car itself has trained so many drivers in the IndyCar series. At all 3 levels, you race at premier venues on the same dance card as IndyCar. Showcase your skills under the watchful eyes of IndyCar scouts and owners. The program is unprecedented around the world, offering the opportunity to climb the ladder with over $2 million in scholarships to the champions in USF 2000, Indy Pro 2000, and Indy Lights. Former karters fill the roster of Road to Indy graduates in IndyCar, like Joseph Newgarden, Pato O'Ward, Connor Daly, Jack Harvey, Felix Rosenquist, Colton Herta, Ed Jones, Charlie Kimball, Dalton Kellett, and Renus VK. Follow in their footsteps. If you want to race IndyCar, there is only one choice: the Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. It all started in 1994, when former successful kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Fast forward 20 years, and Parolin's passion for the sport led to the company rejoining international competitions as a factory team in WSK and CIK FIA races, with the aim of enhancing the research and development process, immediately achieving notable results around Europe, North America, and Asia, becoming the CIK FIA Asia Pacific KZ champion in the same year. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory team at all of the major Superkarts USA and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2021 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior classes, and the 28mm mini kart for the cadet classes. Parolin has been winning races all over the world, and it's on top of the podium in the USA as well, with drivers like Kai Sorensen, Mateus Orjuela, and Alessandro De Tullio. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com. Back at it here on the EKN Radio Network. Rob Howden alongside David Cole, our preview of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour SpringNationals from Utah. David, again, you mentioned off the top, Masters Racing was big on Superkarts USA's Pro Tour for many years. Really, it was the only program for those first 5, 6, 7 years that really even took care of Masters drivers. Other categories have brought the Masters in. They're getting some pretty good numbers. Numbers still not solid, super solid for SCUSA. 8 drivers in the Master Shifter class, not counting any potential walk-ups. The field defending champion Skitchy Barnes is coming in from Bermuda. But really, when it comes to this program, you got to expect Jordan Musser is going to be the guy coming out of the gate. Yeah,
another mechanical certainly cost Musser from getting both victories in NOLA, and Skitchy Barnes was right there to take advantage of that as he comes in as a championship leader, leading by 14 points over Musser. But Musser is certainly the measuring stick when it comes to Master Shifter. So Barnes is going to be putting in the good work to try and put the battle to Musser, along with Vincent Cassard, only 60 points, sitting there in third in the championship. So on that CRG. So again, the measuring stick is Musser, but a number of drivers could be there to try and put on the pressure.
Yeah, Cassard and Barnes were very close together throughout the weekend at NOLA. You throw in Venkat Reddy coming into play as well. Anthony Stifler back again. Ben Schermerhorn for PSL Karting on the Burrell Arch should be a guy that I would think will probably battle for a podium as well.
Yeah, another racetrack that Ben's very familiar with, being in the Rocky Mountain region. So Ben Schermerhorn should be among those racing for podiums.
All right, let's move now over to the X30 Masters category. We got total 10 entries in total. The defending champion Scott Roberts from the Winter Nationals winners, Jess Peterson and Danilo Ramalho. Ramalho got that DQ on Saturday, but not on the entry list. Again, Ramalho, one of the other drivers running for Racing Edge Motorsports. So it appears to me that Kevin Monteith not bringing the correct this particular weekend.
I did get confirmation that they are not able to. The team's not unable to travel out of Canada, so thus they are not going to be in Utah.
Man, tough. A couple guys right in the points championship battle for sure. Peterson does, though, come in with the point lead. Mario Barrios in second spot. Mario's been unbelievably quick in his machine with running with Rawlson Performance Group, so I got to think that he'll be in the fight for a race win again this weekend. But, David, there are a couple other drivers who are coming to play that weren't at the Winter Nationals.
Yeah, certainly 2019 champion Matt Johnson making the return back to the X30 Master category. He's going to be among those that will be in competition. Then Billy Cleveland making his way back to SCUSA Pro Tour, a multi-time Super Nationals winner, coming back racing with Rawlson Performance Group again. So he'll be working with Barrios. So that'll be an interesting dynamic. Barrios and Billy Cleveland.
Yeah, they're either going to love each other or kill each other.
Well, both are not afraid to fight. I can tell you that right now.
Very true. I see Travis Irving on the entry list as well for Formula Works on a GFC. So Irving coming back to play.
Yeah, Irving coming back. We'll see if he's in shape enough. I know he's been doing a lot of wrenching and driver coaching, so we'll see if he's actually in shape enough to race. Another driver to watch, Ian Kunchez with Ford Direction Motorsports. Made the transition to Masters about midway through the Challenge in Americas this year in the 100cc division. Did fairly well in that and making the move over to X30 Masters. So we'll see if he's able to contend on the weekend.
There it is. That's the Masters category. Everybody chasing Jess Peterson right now. A couple new names in the fight. And again, good to welcome back guys like Matt Johnson, Billy Cleveland, and Ian Kunchez. Barrios will be right in there to scrap it out for the championship. These guys, of course, not in the championship, but we'll be going for the race wins. All right, essentially one more break, folks. We'll wrap things up. Mini Swift and Micro Swift up next.
Trader, Evans, Pruitt, Haddock, McMurray. Karting legends are created here at the Quincy Grand Prix. This is Randy Kugler, the voice of this iconic event. After being forced to cancel last year's event due to the coronavirus pandemic, the Quincy Grand Prix will be back on its traditional date on the first weekend of June. So mark June 5th and 6th on your calendar and we'll see you there. On that gorgeous late spring weekend, for the 33rd time since 1970, competition karts will once again rip around the spectacular and beautiful 1.2-mile circuit set out inside the South Park of Quincy, Illinois. This is your chance to race in front of over 15,000 spectators. The 2021 edition of the Quincy Grand Prix marks the 51st anniversary of the first time karters raced around this historic venue. To celebrate the event, a $10,000 cash purse has been established for the 4 pro classes competing on the weekend. A total of 11 categories will be competing for the unique trophy given to all race winners, the Gussie, designed and named after the original race founder, Gus Trader. Registration is now open, so don't wait, and enter now at QuincyGrandPrix.com and become legendary. We'll see you at the park.
You can buy all the latest and greatest products on the market, but when you're karting to win, it boils down to one thing: you, the driver. Gain the knowledge and abilities by investing in yourself at the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, and you'll find those extra tenths of a second you need to put yourself on the podium. The school was established by Superkarts USA Hall of Fame driver Alan Rudolph, with decades of victories and championships in multiple forms of the sport, including other disciplines of racing. The Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, located at the Speed Sports Racing Park in the metropolitan Houston area, is designed to teach driving skills at all levels. The instructors of the Academy have decades of racing experience and educating drivers of all ages. Classes at the Academy will teach the concepts and skills needed both behind the wheel and off the track. From the beginning kart racing experience and intro to karting courses, to their advanced 1-day and 2-day courses and karting clinics, the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can improve the skills of any driver. For more information on the specific programs that the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can provide for you, head to speedsports.com and click on the Racing Academy page. Be sure to follow the Academy on social media by searching for Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. All right, time to wrap up this edition of the EKN OutLap. A couple more categories still to go on our preview podcast. We'll jump into the Mini Swift category here right now. 33 pre-entries in total. Your defending champion Parker DeLong making the move up to the junior category this year. Enzo Vidmontien, though, David, 2 wins at the Winter Nationals at NOLA. Again, one of the drivers who didn't win on the racetrack, but was able to get a win after a pushback bumper. Regardless, Vidmontien does have a 65-point lead over Jack Ilott, but Vidmontien was super consistent all weekend long, really able just to settle in and run up front.
And he's been there all season long.
Exactly
you look back at the winter program down in Florida at USBKS. Mm-hmm. He's been there. He's gotten a couple wins at USBKS, so he's got the championship lead there, leading the championship here in the SCUSA Pro Tour. So he's certainly been there. The chips have kind of just fallen his direction on the Pro Tour side of things, but I would expect him to be among the front runners all weekend long in Utah. You talk about Jack Ilott, the defending Micro Swift champion, coming in the Mini as a rookie, is certainly contending quick and fiercely against the Mini drivers that are there now. He's been among those battling for podium positions everywhere he's gone so far, coming in second in the championship points, only 65 out of first. So it's going to be a little bit of veteran versus rookie, I think, all weekend long when you think about those two and you think about the other names that are going to be in the chase all weekend long.
Yeah, we didn't mention Diego Ardiles, back by 111 points, but not on the entry list right now. Some of the notables, David, that you have written down here, I think really impressive to watch. Tyler Roberts, one of them that was unbelievably quick at NOLA, but just wasn't able to put together really any good races and found himself, getting taken out in turn 1. But Tyler showing really good speed on the Parolin. Nico Sarfati coming back as well for GFC, part of Gary Carlton's driver development program. Other drivers not at the Winter Nats: Sarah Bradley, Jensen Burnett, Gage Korn, Rocky Moran, Gavin Witt. I think all those drivers have a chance to run strongly into the top 10.
I just confirmed Ardila's is going to be at Utah. So
Nice.
So top 3 in the championships will be there.
I like it. Vivek Canthan's been pretty good. And hey, listen, we can't talk about a mini race without talking about Ben Mayer as well for Team Nitro. Ben had a strong career in micro, of course, just kind of developing his young career, but he'll definitely be a guy to race for the wins and a podium.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of other things too outside of karting. You talk about road racing cars, you talk about dirt oval stuff. So he's been doing, I think he's had 16 race tracks in 18 weekends. So a lot of racing for him.
Okay. Asher Osteen, another driver with Bennick, who's been up front. What else you got, David? Anybody else coming out to you? Santiago Duran, potentially?
I think you mentioned them. Especially those who weren't at the Winter Nationals that are going to be there. I think that Jensen Burnett, he's got the European experience coming back to North America. So one of the few Canadians that will actually be in Utah.
Let's have a look at Micro Swift now to cap things off. 24 pre-entries in total. Of course, Jack Iliff winning the championship last year, moving up to mini. Gianmatteo Rosso with a 136-point lead over Augustus Toniolo. Rosso, David, wins both races at NOLA.
Yeah, certainly a good weekend for him. Able to almost get a clean sweep on the weekend. Just missed out on qualifying on Sunday and fast lap in the main event on Sunday. Otherwise, he would have had a perfect score on the weekend. Augustus Toniolo stole one of those bonus points, getting the fast time in qualifying to break up the perfect score for him. So Augustus has a lot of work to do. Put in his own perfect performance at the USPKS weekend at Newcastle. So is certainly going to need that in order to kind of chop into the advantage that Rousseau has right now. Sitting there in third, Isaac Melcutt, not going to be in Utah, along with Keelan Harvick. So two of the top 5 in the championship chase not going to be in Utah. So that kind of helps out Ashton Moon, who sits 4th. So it helps kind of put him in the chase. He's going to need a little bit of a good weekend to be able to cut in Rousseau's advantage.
Yeah, another driver kind of on a bit of a momentum run now, starting to put in some good results for Parallel USA is Alessandro Truchot. I have to think that he'll be a guy that will very likely be running in the lead group.
Oh, for sure. Truchot is going to be there. I think another one, Reese Bowman, who we saw on the West Coast, making his Pro Tour debut. He's going to be there. I think there's probably about 5 or 6 drivers that kind of stand out that we've kind of already mentioned. I'm trying to think of the other one, Troy Ferguson, certainly fast. So another 2 drivers, him and Bowman from the West Coast, making their Pro Tour debuts.
So there you go, folks. There is your look at all the categories of this weekend's SCUSA Pro Tour Spring Nationals in Utah. David, let's kind of wrap things up here now. For those of you who want to tune in, always listen live at ekartingnews.com/live. We've got the live timing on there. Of course, we've got the live feed. You'll be able to have all the audio throughout the weekend from the Team Cooper Tire Broadcast Center. We'll talk more about the guys that we have on board to be our presenting sponsors. But David, give them the lineup for the social media platforms, all the hashtags they can use to follow in the action.
Yeah, what we do, we got hashtag EKN at SCUSA. We got hashtag SCUSA Pro Tour, and then hashtag SpringNats 2021. Also add in maybe a Utah, hashtag Utah, maybe a hashtag UMC for Utah Motorsports Campus.
I like that.
Hashtag karting, as always. We always end our things with hashtag karting, and also hashtag Team Cooper Tire.
That's it. The Team Cooper Tire, the presenting sponsor of our entire 2021 EKN Trackside Live program. The live broadcast this weekend will be brought to you by Trinity Karting Group, Parallel USA, and Franklin Motorsports. David, that's it. We're wrapping things up. Anything else to add? Are we ready to get on the plane and head to Utah?
Excited to get back to the racetrack. It's been a few weeks. Excited to get to the West Coast, get some In-N-Out Burger, and again, visit Salt Lake City. It's an amazing backdrop for a race weekend.
Yeah, fantastic restaurants. 2 years ago, you and I, where did we go? Went to Lucky 13. That was a pretty solid burger.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find a new location. A lot of people have been there since last weekend, testing for this weekend. So I'm sure a lot of different restaurants will be provided for options on the weekend.
Pack your winter hats and pack your gloves, folks. It's going to be cool in the morning.
Yeah, that'll be the shocker too.
All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the EKN OutLap. As David and I previewed this coming weekend, Superkarts USA Pro Tour Spring Nationals heading to Utah. Looking forward to what will be a fantastic battle. 217 pre-entries. Could see it push up to 230, maybe a little more. When we get the walk-ups, there are a number of guys that didn't enter. David already told us a couple that he confirmed. So hopefully we'll see getting up to 230, potentially 240. Otherwise, it's going to be back at the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you tune in on all our coverage throughout the weekend. Make sure you follow EKN's coverage on social media. David will be putting the top 10s up from all the sessions, as we always do, on Facebook and Twitter. We may even do one of our live debriefs at the end of the day on Saturday and Sunday. We'll see how it all plays out.
It's been since August, Rob.
Let's do one, man.
Oh yeah, I'm on board Saturday and Sunday.
All right, David's on board, so we'll do it. So live debriefs at the end of each day. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the OutLap. My name is Rob Howden. On behalf of David Cole, bye for now.